Yo, what is up, everybody? Popo here bringing you guys a new video, and today we're going to be talking about 3 teams you can use in the GC. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, and today we're going to be looking at 3 teams I made using some unique Pokemon that you can use in the GC this weekend. This is going to be the last one for Regulation H, so you might as well have some fun with it, you know, especially if you've already done well in the other ones. Maybe just chill out and wait for the Regulation G ones coming up. But yeah, with the sad departure of Regulation H, going back to that Regulation G, I figured let's use some lesser used Pokemon and make some cool teams. So that's exactly what I did. And the first one we have here is a Gliscor. I know Gliscor's usage kind of went up on ladder, but it hasn't really seen any success in any of the official tournaments. But it is very good against Sneasler, which is the #1 used Pokemon, and you're going to see it kind of everywhere. So we have Gliscor. It's going to be Water Terra. There's a bunch of different other terrors you can use for this too. I just decided on water because rain teams are pretty prevalent right now, and this just makes it good against Weather Ball from Pelipper, and that way you can guarantee a hit into into their Archludon. So you'll at least get 2 hits into Archludon essentially from having this. Of course, we have the Toxic Orb, so we can't be sleeped. A lot of teams right now are using double sleep. They're using both Sneasler and Amoonguss, so we definitely don't want to get slept. So we're going to just put ourselves into a situation where we are actually toxic. We're poisoned, and we got Poison Heal, so we're going to heal up every single turn. Because of that, we have high horsepower, dual wing beat, sword dance, and protect. So you can set up sword dances pretty early and then just start kind of sweeping with both of these attacks. Of course, you can miss dual wing beat, so be careful. But it's his best flying move. You could use something else here, and you could also go Earthquake, but our team's not really built around Earthquake. We have 228. This is going to give a pretty good HP. We got 84 with Adamant Attack. With a +2, this is going to be a very good attack stat, so you don't need to go much more than that. You want to be a little bit more bulky. Defense 4, because we had 4 left over. We have 164 special defense. This is going to allow us to survive certain hits, especially when we go for that Water Terror. We're going to be able to take a Hurricane and a Weather Ball, so that'll be really good. And just a little bit of speed, so that way we can outspeed some of the Archludons that are speed creeping just a little bit. And with the 95 speed, we are in a pretty good position. So Gliscor, pretty good. Then we got Blaziken, and this is going to be Clear Amulet Speed Boost with Stellar Terra, which isn't really anything uncommon. Close Combat Coaching, Flare Blitz, Protect. This is going to allow us to go Coaching Sword Dance on turn 1 potentially, putting a lot of pressure on our opposition. And with a Water Terra and a Fire Pokemon, there's nothing they can really do to cover both weaknesses. And also, Gliscor really does well against everything that Blaziken is bad against. So, gives a lot of range there. We can go for those coachings, protect, speed boost. You're doing a lot. We have a little bit of bulk, but mostly attack, and we have speed with Jolly. You go protect, and then you get that speed boost. You're pretty much faster than everything in the format. So that is going to be the main thing you do. But since we have coaching, we might as well have a second Pokemon that we can use it on. That's going to be King Gambit. We got the Assault Vest, Defiant, Kowtow Cleave, Sucker Punch, Low Kick, Iron Head. Just 92 HP, 252, 164. This is going to be 126, which is going to get 50% boost off of that Assault Vest. So it's going to be very bulky. This is a set I use quite often. Dark Terror, even though it's Assault Vest, I feel like is always really good. Just increasing the Kowtow Cleave damage is nice. And since you do have that coaching, you can go for that coaching, and now you have a +1 Kowtow Cleave. And if they had intimidated you, now you're +2. And there's not really much they're going to be able to do. You'll be able to take over the game with King Gambit plus Blaziken, with the threat of Gliscor in the back. So that's always nice too. Next we have Sinistcha. Sinistcha is just going to allow us to heal up our Pokemon and make our King Gambit, Gliscor, and Primarina a little bit more bulky. We got Machagacha, Trick Room, Protect, and Rage Powder. So since Gliscor is not the fastest in the world, and King Gambit definitely isn't that fast, and Primarina's really slow too, we can go for Trick Room and have some plays that way. We're 252, 204 special defense. It's going to allow us to live a few attacks, and 52 on that defense. We're going to have Mental Herb. Since this is a GC, Mental Herb is very, very good, because sometimes people will just go straight up for taunts and instead of going for the attack. And if they're running Electabuzz, this is going to be a really good tech move into, because you can go Gliscor, Sword Dance, and then you can go Trick Room with the Sinistcha, and then you're just really set up going into the future turns, as now they have an Electabuzz, which is weak against Gliscor, and Gliscor is now +2, so it's just going to put a lot of offensive pressure with Machigacha, Gliscor, switch out potentially into Gothitelle, and you're just kind of doing a lot of impact onto their team. Next, we have Primarina. It's going to be Poison, Citrus Berry, Liquid Voice, Hyper Voice, Parasong, Moonblast, Protect. This is just a spread I always use with Primarina. I feel like it's really good defense-wise and attack-wise. With Life Orb, this thing does a little bit more damage, but with Citrus Berry, it's going to be a little bit more bulky. So it can work in either one. And we have that Parasong just for endgame situations where maybe our Gliscor has gone down or Kingambit has gone down. And maybe we still have these three, so then we can go for Parasong and just kind of win the game. And there's nothing they can really do. Because if you have 3 Pokemon and they have 2, you almost always win with Parasong, especially if Trick Room's up. And then last but not least, we have Gothitelle. It's going to be Psychic, Fake Out, Protect. Of course, Shadow Tag, Wiki Berry, Steel Terra. I already said that was Poison Terra. Yeah, this is going to be Steel Terra, just a little bit different, so that way we can't get Dire Clawed. So you can avoid the Dire Claw, go for the Psychic, and knock out those pesky Sneaslers. Fake Out, Protect, Heal Pulse. So Heal Pulse is going to be a big deal once again. If you have this Poison Healing Gliscor or this bulky Kingambit, and then you just have Heal Pulses going off into them, they're not really going to be able to take them out. So we're just going to work on the fact that we're going to be able to bulk everything. 252, 196, and 60 special defense just to make it super bulky. This is just spread I kind of put together. But yeah, this is just going to be a bulky attacking team that's going to rely on mostly Kingambit, Gliscor, and then maybe Parasong in the back. So use it accordingly. If you're not very good with Parasong, then it might not be the team for you, but the next one might be. Okay, and the next team we have is a Hisuian Goodra. If you guys don't know, I am a big fan of Hisuian Goodra. I always have been. I think it's better in some formats than others. I don't really think it's good right now, but I think it's going to be good again when the restricted formats come back out. So yeah, we're just going to start with Goodra, but this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have the Ghost Terror on the Goodra. This is going to be for mostly those Sneaslers, also the Annihilapes and stuff like that. Shelter, Body Press, Life Dew, and Protect. Protect, you can have something else like Dragon Pulse if you want to, but I'm going to go for Protect here. Usually I don't run Protect on the Goodras. Leftover Shell Armor, so we can't be crit. You can also use Sap Sipper, but we have kind of a secret tech on this team, and I'll show you guys that in a second. 252 HP, 180 defense, 76 special defense. This just allows it to hit some of the attacks that might knock it out, and it's really good against Ursaluna, both forms. So yeah, this is going to be pretty good against that. Those are very, very popular right now. Though with only Body Press, you can't hit Ghost Terra, Ursaluna, like regular form, because a lot of them are that. So that's why maybe you run Dragon Pulse or you run Heavy Slam. Though Heavy Slam's not as good right now, and it's definitely not good into Ursaluna. Next is our secret tech, and that is Wheezing. So since we are playing the closed team sheet best of ones, this could take people by surprise. So we have Grass Terra to avoid those ground moves because they're very common right now. Assault Vest Wheezing with Misty Surge. So this is going to stop Amoonguses. This is going to stop the Sneaslers. This is just going to put a lot of stops on a lot of Pokemon. We have the Psy Beam, and this is going to allow us to hit that Sneasler. Strange Steam, Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Wave. Since we are going Goodra, Sludge Wave is pretty good because we can kind of just click Sludge Wave and we don't take anything, and we hit both of their Pokemon, potentially breaking Focus Sashes, as well as potentially getting poisons on them, so that could be very, very good for us. And yeah, it's not going to do the most damage, but this is going to be a super, super bulky Galarian Wheezing. Once again, with that Misty Surge, you can get rid of grassy terrain. You can get rid of psychic terrain with it too. So it has multiple uses. And like I said, with that Grass Terra, we're not going to have to worry about anything. We're not going to be able to be spored. We can't be hit by like Earthquake for super effective or Headlong Rush. we're going to resist those, and then we can go for like a, strange steam or something like that into those Ursalunas. So it gives us a lot more range. Speaking of Ursaluna, we also have Incineroar, Citrus Berry, Intimidate, Ghost Terra. I was trying to decide maybe another Terra might be more beneficial, but decided Ghost Terra is probably the way to go. Fake Out, Knockoff, Flare Blitz, Parting Shot. 236, we just gonna go up to the 200 stat. 52, just give us a little bit more damage. 76, 140, and 4. Nothing too special about this Incineroar. Citrus Berry is fine. Since we have the Misty Surge, we don't need the goggles, which is a cool tech. You can Parting Shot into the Wheezing to stop something like that Amoonguss from going off too. So some really cool different techs that you can go for. It's just a really good combo of 3 Pokemon. It also lowers the damage that Goodra is going to take from physical attacking Pokemon, which is nice. Next we have Gallade, and this is not going to be Psychic Terra. That's not what I meant to do. I was going to put Dark Terra, so that way it's a little bit better. So there we go. So 252 HP, 252 attack. This is going to be Focus Sash, Sharpness, and 4 defense. I mean, if it gets hit by a physical move, it's probably knocked out anyways. Trick Room, Psycho Cut, Sacred Sword, and Protect. We're going to go 0 speed, so we're as slow as we can possibly be. And yeah, we're just going to use this to kind of set up Trick Rooms because our team is really slow. People aren't really expecting Gallade to be the Trick Room setter. And we don't really have another Trick Room setter, so people might not even expect us to have it in the first place. And we can just output some really good damage, especially with that Focus Sash. Next to Incineroar, you can get the Fake Out off. And if they go for like the Amoonguss, then we can go for the Wheezing and the Gallade, and then we'll have a free Trick Room setup and pressure with the Psycho Cut on both Sneasler or an Amoonguss. So really good. Next we have Ursaluna. This is just going to be normal Life Orb. Of course, Mind's Eye has to 0 speed, 252, 92, 164. This is a Ursaluna I always use. In my opinion, it is the best set for Ursaluna. Blood Moon, Hyper Voice, Protect, and Earth Power. Very, very good. This is just going to be our main special attacker. Of course, we have the Goodra, but now this Ursaluna is going to put a lot of pressure onto things like the normal form Ursaluna with that Blood Moon. So really, really good. And last but not least, we have Primarina, and as you can see, it is the same, except we have Haze instead. Haze is just going to allow us to get rid of the boosts on our opposition. It does affect Goodra, so oftentimes you're not going to really be bringing that against Goodra, but one of our worries on this team is actually going to be the Dondozo, because Dondozo does really good into everything here. So if we can just get rid of its boost, then Ursaluna can really take care of it pretty effectively, as can Gallade. So yeah, that's the main reason for having the Haze. I thought about Clefairy with Skill Swap too, but I just felt like we needed the water attack as well. So decided to go with Primarina. But let's go to the last one. All right, and the last one is going to be Alolan Executor. This is a Pokemon I actually performed very well with in one of the Players' Cups. And this is actually the same exact set. This is not the same EV spread because I don't think you need as much bulk. But yeah, Frisk, and the reason why we're running Frisk instead of Harvest, even though we do have Sun over here, is just for the fact that we can see what our opposition's items are, and then we can take advantage of that by doing some switches with Indeedee or going into King Gambit or just straight into Hatterene or something like that if we need to. So we'll be able to know what our opponent has on their Pokemon, and it's really good. Though you can run Harvest if you want to. Once again, we're running Sun with Citrus Berry. You can do a lot of stuff with that. So we're gonna have Trick Room, Sleep Powder, Draco Meteor, and Bulldoze. We'll get to that in a second. 212 HP, 108 defense. It's already pretty bulky. Its special defense is a little low, 156, and we have 28 special attack. Yeah, you're just going to use Indeedee to get rid of the special attacks that go into the Executor, and then you go for Sleep Powder switches and do a bunch of stuff with that. And it just puts a lot of pressure on. Draco Meteor, Energy Ball I like better in most metas, but I think in the meta that we're currently in, I think Draco Meteor is the call. You can also go Dragon Pulse if you really want to, if you don't want the decrease, but a lot of times you're going to be clicking Sleep Powder anyways over Draco Meteor, and this is just going to be kind of a last case scenario. So We have this bulldoze, right? That's because we have King Gambit with weakness policy, so this is going to allow us to go for Executor and Indeedee, and this is going to be Grass Terra with Rocky Helmet, Psychic Surge, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Dazzling Gleam, Trick Room. So pretty standard Indeedee. This is the set I always use. If you guys have seen any of my videos in the past using Indeedee, I always use this one. It's what got me second place in Wolf Glick's GS Cup back in the day. So I'm just very partial to it. And yeah, this is just pretty standard. Helping Hand is going to be really good with the Torkoal Hatterene stuff. And of course with the King Gambit. And once again, let's get to the King Gambit. So it's going to be Dark Terra, Weakness Policy, Defiant, Kowtow Cleave, Iron Head, Protect, Low Kick. The reason why we're not running Sucker Punch is because we do have that Indeedee, and Indeedee is a pivotal part of the team. So no reason to really have that priority Sucker Punch. Though you could definitely run it. I just think Low Kick right now is very, very valuable with the Ursalunas running around. So we definitely want to keep that on tap. We're going to be 0 speed, so we're actually going to be 49, which means we outspeed Ursaluna Blood Moon under Trick Room, which is very, very good. And yeah, we just output a lot of damage, just 252, 207. We're just going to get that weakness policy off. This is going to be a +2. This is going to be crazy. So yeah, King Gambit is just going to be the main attacker. It's going to sit there and just do a ton of damage. Next, we have Annihilate, and this is the Annihilate you think it's going to be. It's Choice Scarf. We have some speed investment, some attack investment, and HP up into 207. That gives us a good range into a lot of the Pokemon. This is also Annihilate that you can actually use going into the new regulation, to Regulation H, because 207 actually knocks out a lot of the restricted Pokemon if they're max HP. So, like, you could take out a Kyogre, you could take out what's his name, Calyrex Ice Rider, just with a Final Gambit with this Annihilate, and you don't even need to run Choice Scarf for the most part, because 90 speed is almost good enough. And if you run Tailwind, then you don't even have to worry about it. So but yeah, Close Combat, Final Gambit, U-Turn, and Rage Fist. So pretty standard. U-Turn is just going to help us pivot a little bit more. We could pivot into the King Gambit if we think they're going to go for something that's super effective into the Annihilate. Maybe like a Fairy move, or even a Ghost Attack. We can go into the King Gambit and eat those up. So pretty good there. And Final Gambit's going to allow us to get Trick Room off a little bit easier. And late game, he can come back in and, you know, go for some close combats or some Rage Fists. Rage Fist could also go to Shadow Claw if you're not too worried about taking hits. But he's already pretty bulky, so I think you could take 1 or 2 hits. And then if you just take 1 hit, Rage Fist is just stronger anyways. Fairy Terra, I was going to go Ghost Terra, but I just didn't really know what to do. You could also go Stellar Terra, which is what I had originally. But yeah, we're just going to go with that. Torkoal, very, very standard here. Drought, Eruption, Flamethrower, Protect, but we also run a Clear Smog. Once again, Dondozo could be a threat to us, so might as well have something that can neutralize it, and then we could take advantage of that later on with the King Gambit or the Hatterene. So we just want a little bit of that. There's a lot of boosting moves at the moment, so just having something that can help out a little bit is nice, but you're just going to mostly click Eruptions and do whatever with Fire Terra. And then we have Hatterene, who's also going to be Fire Terra with Life Orb, Magic Bounce, Expanding Force, Mystical Fire, Protect, and Trick Room. So we're going to run the Mystical Fire over the Dazzling Gleam. And the only reason for that is because we do have that Torkoal. So if we can set up the fire, go Fire Terra, Mystical Fire, it's going to do massive amounts of damage on a Hatterene. And that means we don't even have to have the Psychic Terrain up for Expanding Force, when we could just do tons of damage with the Mystical Fire. And it gives us more of a single target. You could change this to Heat Wave instead, since we do have that Mystical Fire, but oftentimes you're probably not going to bring them. Like Executor, Indeedee, King Gambit, Torkoal sounds very, very good. Because you can go for those bulldozes, then you get off the weakness policy, and then you can go for the Sleep Powder or Draco Meteors, and then, you know, that goes down, and then you could bring in Torkoal, and then, you know, you're doing pretty good. And then Indeedee plus Torkoal just wins in the end game, or Indeedee plus King Gambit. So, because then you could just do Follow Me, Helping Hands, whatever you need to do to lay them to rest. So, yeah, this is the team I would use if I was making one of these teams for sure, because I think it's the most fun, and you know, I love Alolan Executor, so that helps out too. But anyways, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video and you guys aren't going to use any of these teams, let me know. And if you like the video, make sure you guys thumbs it up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys do so. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.